Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SONY HVC 3000p colour video camera from around 1981. The TRINICON range of cameras are actually my favourite from this time period, from the early 1980s, probably because they nearly always work. But sadly this one does have a problem. And it's quite a common problem, and it even happens in the early broadcast cameras. And that is because the infrared filter, ROTT, it breaks down. And when this happens, the image becomes blurred, or in the case of this camera, we can see no image whatsoever. Some filters are made up of different layers, and they have glue holding them together. I'm not sure what this filter is actually made out of, because it's so small, and what's left of it, it's hard to tell exactly. So in today's video, we're going to be opening this up to take a look inside, and see exactly what's happened to this infrared filter. So stay tuned, and I'll see you right after the intro. Thought it would be interesting first to look at a bit of a history of this camera and when it came out and how much it was. Got a complete video guide here from 1982, and it shows the HVC 2000p and the 3000p. Looking at it, the 3000p was £100 more because it worked better in lower light. So the HVC 2000p was £559 and the 3000p was £649. But apart from that, they look quite similar. But I'm sure there is another difference actually as well, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I've actually got quite a few of these cameras. There's actually a HVC 4000p as well, and there's a 2010, I think it is. The 2010 is quite a basic model. There's no electronic zoom, no electronic viewfinder either. It just has a optical viewfinder, but I'll make a video about those on another occasion. So before we open the camera up, let's have a quick look at it, shall we? This is the hard case that it comes in. They pretty much always came in one of these, to my knowledge. There's your 12-pin camera connector. I think that's the K-type connector, which is Sony's own. Obviously everybody else used JVC system at the time, which was a 10-pin connection. There is an adapter available to switch between the two systems that Sony made themselves to make their cameras more compatible with other VCRs. Viewfinder cable there is slightly perished, it's breaking down. But apart from that, it still actually works. Just can't see much with the viewfinder because it's all fogged up due to that infrared filter. Got a remote connection there, and on the side there's your record, start, stop, and a lock button. Mic socket on the side. Monaural camera, this one, just a mono mic. On the back there you've got a fader switch, sharpness, and also the earpiece, what the mic is hearing, or the VTR, because obviously you can play your videos back through this as well, and watch them back on the black and white viewfinder. There's your white balance settings on the side there. You can adjust the blue and red, and also you've got your iris control there, manual, automatic, sensitivity, high, auto or low. And that's your brightness there for the viewfinder. And there you've got your metering mode there, you can change that. Manual focus on this camera, and you've got manual zoom and macro, and there's also an electronic zoom on the top there. The lens is fixed on this, you can't remove it, although it does look like it comes off. It's quite a heavy camera, just over 2 kilos. The lens on this one has a little bit of fungus, but it's not too bad. And that's your mounting point there for your tripod. Like all of these portable video cameras, they need a 12 volt DC power supply, and this one uses 8.3 watts. And then you've got your black and white viewfinder there. So I guess the next thing to do will get this open. I actually filmed this quite a long time ago now actually. I've been meaning to put this video together for a while. I'll speed up some of the disassembly procedure. You'll still be able to see exactly what to take apart, and this will help keep the video shorter. So first thing to do to make your life a bit easier is remove that electronic viewfinder. Just a case of undoing that nut underneath and unplugging it and putting it to one side. The side panel on this camera are actually made out of metal, some kind of alloy. A lot of these cameras from that time period are usually plastic to help keep the weight down. And there we go, that's the first side panel off. And my look at the size of that PCB, pretty much the same shape as the cabinet. And they're using up every inch of space there, aren't they? if you were to drop this, obviously on its back, that PCB is going to get damaged. And once you release all those screws on the side there, that PCB will drop down to reveal the spaghetti jumble of cables. Just look at all that cabling. So next up, it's time to get into that front area so that we can get to the lens. Time to get that side panel off. It comes off eventually. And there we go, we can see inside the lens area slightly. And there's quite a lot going on in here. It's certainly not going to be straightforward to get into this. I think the next thing to do is to release these two screws, because I was hoping the lens would just slide out. Looks like it does turn slightly, but there's still something else holding it back. I was hoping I'd be able to do this without taking the other side of the camera off, but it quickly became apparent that I will have to release the other side in order to get into it. I think it's the zoom motor basically that's holding it in place and not allowing the lens to slide forward. Quite a few screws here to undo to get into this. You can still pretty much see what I'm doing here even at this speed. I just didn't want the video to go on too long. And here we are, will this be it? The moment of truth. Yes, it's coming away. Quite a strange assembly actually. And here we go, our first glimpse at that rotten infrared filter. And it certainly is rotten at that. It's actually crystallised by the look of it. I'm assuming it must be atmospheric conditions that probably make this happen a little bit faster, because like I said before at the beginning of the video, I have other cameras that work absolutely fine still, even the same model. It works absolutely fine, there's no fogging whatsoever. But as time goes on, they probably will all go this way. I did actually remove the filter, and there's a little ring that holds it in place. Took it out and had a look at it, and tried cleaning it up. But like I mentioned before, it has crystallised. There's like a white powdery substance all over it, and even when I try to remove it, it's still dulled basically, you still can't see through it. So I reassembled the camera without the infrared filter to see what would happen. So this is what the camera looks like now it's back together. It's still working. I've actually zoomed in here on this test card. I'll just adjust the focusing. If I zoom out, I'm unable to get the camera to focus. This phenomenon has happened because the IR filter is not in place, and the camera needs that basically to get that depth of field. Otherwise you have to zoom in. Bit disappointing really, but the camera is still usable. It just means you have to step further back with it, and of course you'll lose some f-stops by zooming in, so you'll lose some light. So really we need to be replacing that infrared filter. I have got some infrared filters from camcorders, but they're a lot thicker, they're glass and they're square or rectangular. So I guess I need to find something from another camera that doesn't work anymore and pop that in its place, and maybe that will sort the problem out with the focusing. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that with me. A little bit of experimentation there, trying to salvage one of these old cameras. Getting on a bit now, aren't they? Over 40 years old. It's a miracle they still work at all really. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that with me. As always, thanks for watching, and until the next video, I'll be seeing you. And if you did enjoy watching this video, you may want to take a look at some of my other videos on similar themes. I'm always buying something on eBay, some more piece of technology, and trying to repair it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.